Shamaya, you did it.
STL Music.
Is that good? Welcome back to the show. So listen up, we back in the game. Sweet the league, we got the flame. All of it to the fullest, I be saying with them. Wake up, get it in every way. Right from the two in the global inspiration. Talk this sports and top news, no hesitation. Sweet the league is back. We always coming back, that's a fact. Wanna tell them that STL Music, mama, we did it, where we at? Coach Jill in the house with the flow so tight. Every rocks, that's we unite. Yeah, the best show, Monday through Friday. If this ain't different, they lying. We got the energy. When I say sweep, you say the league. Sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league. San Antonio, let's go. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. San Antonio, let's go.
Hey, it's Rain Fernandez, and you're watching Sweep the League. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and Facebook at Rain Fernandez, RAYNE Fernandez.
Hi, it's Sherilyn, and you're watching Sweep the League TV. Follow me on Instagram at official Sherilyn for more content.
Hey, this is George Iceman Gervin, and you're listening to Sweet the League Radio.
Sweep the league TV where legends collide. If the Cowboys fall short, we'll still ride the tide. Like Jordan in the clutch or Brady's last play. We bring the fire, keeping fans in the fray. Coach Gio and Marie calling the shots. With Derek Coventry, Hall of Fame thoughts. So hit that subscribe, don't sit on the bench. Get in the game, every highlight's intense. The live stream's on, tell your friends don't delay. Like Kobe in the fourth, we're here to play. Sweep the League TV, where greatness resides. From the blogs at the drive, till my heart's on the rise. We're all in on sports, NBA, CFB, and more for fans. By fans, it's the show you'll adore.
We were regular season, and we were winning like 8-0. It was easy game in the 8th inning. And he told me, don't throw anything inside on Bagwell. Call everything outside. And I said, okay. I think it was somebody odd. And he wants to go inside. And I, okay, it's your game. So I went inside, called inside, and Bagwell hit like 1,000-mile.
Oh boy, Bagwell way back.
And I was mad, and I was like, what are you doing? And he goes, they got a good team. We got a good team. We're going to play them in the playoff. He's going to wait for that pitch. 3 months later, we're in the playoff, bases loaded in the 7th. We threw 3 straight changes and struck him out. And I was walking to the dugout. He goes, hey! And I looked at him. He said, you remember? 3 months ago, 2 months ago? And I said, no, I don't. He was looking for that pitch, the homer that he hit. And I was like, this guy. It's how smart he was.
All right, welcome to a Wacky Wednesday edition of Sweep the League, where we're doing a little bit of video tributes for you guys out there. MLB season kicking off, and you know what? We're sharing some MLB stories for you guys out there. That, of course, was the professor himself, Greg Maddux. What a great story. Pitching to Jeff Bagwell, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly on that. But we also have another tribute later to another great legend of the game, Tony Gwynn. A little story about him playing against the Reds. That'll be at the end of our show tonight. Rudy Campos Jr. for Sweep the League. Be sure to go to our YouTube page, search Sweep the League TV, hit that subscribe button, go to our TikTok page at Sweep the League Radio. Why? Because we repost a lot of these videos that you're seeing on Sweep the League. They're getting reposted on our TikTok. So be sure to go to our TikTok page at Sweep the League Radio and be a subscriber there, as well as our YouTube page for you guys out there. That way you don't miss anything coming up here. We've got Sweep Unplugged. We've got Grading the Market. That's going to be making a comeback here pretty soon. Trying to get the wrestling show started up again. So we got a ton of stuff coming up here. A lot of content. Iron Refocused Radio, Bez Boys Podcast. Just tons and tons more coming out. You guys don't even know the rest of it that will be coming out here pretty soon. So what are we talking about tonight, guys? So we're talking about a trade that I mentioned it I say a long time ago. Months back, I talked about this idea of a trade that it was kind of talked about. It was whispered about. I looked at the trade. I even thought this is a great idea. Well, a couple more. Now you're starting to see a little bit more traction. Will it really happen? We'll get into that here. We've got a couple of clips to play for you from a podcast where they kind of start to talk about it and the reasons behind it. So we'll get into that trade as well. Also, we always talk about NIL. We always talk about college sports here on Sweep the League when it comes to money. Mick Cronin and Gino Auriemma, they've come out and talked about it more, and they've actually talked about what we mentioned here at Sweep the League, the fact that there's no more college sports. It's a business. You've got to treat it as a business. Plus, Cronin on his interview was talking about how now it's a me mentality, something that Derek Gervin talked about on the show a while back as well. We'll get into some of that talk. Plus, we've also got maybe some NBA playoff talk. When is it time to put respect on those Detroit Pistons, the surprise team that I called in the summer? I said there's going to be a surprise team in the East. It's going to be Detroit. Last year, Orlando was my surprise team. This year, I took Detroit in the summer. They're there. They're in the playoffs right now. They have a 6-game lead over Atlanta to guarantee and secure a playoff spot. They just won with a buzzer beater. Cade Cunningham beating the Miami Heat at the buzzer tonight. When do we put respect on Detroit? We'll talk about that later, as well as we will get into Mr. Padre, the story of Tony Gwynn and the Cincinnati Reds. That'll end our show here at Sweep the League. Let's get into the comments, man. Jacob Erican here is in for Grading the Market. Says awesome video, Mr. Padre. Geez, man, I'm seeing the video and thinking the worst. Don't do this to me, Rudy. I'm sorry, man. I apologize. We're starting baseball season, starting here. I promised you guys we'll be doing some baseball videos for tributes at the end of the show. We started a couple of shows with the tribute, but we're also going to end it again. But man, you missed last night's, Joel. You missed last night's video, kind of a tearjerker. It was about the Dodgers. A young boy who had cancer, got Chase Utley's autograph when Chase Utley was with the Phillies. Utley with the Dodgers now. That same kid is now a pitching prospect in the Dodgers system. So that was a real heartbreaker for us. Appreciate you guys joining us in tonight. We're going to have to start off. We're going to get on with the NFL talk here because you have the draft coming up. You've got some trades that are more than likely going to happen, but the big trade that we were talking about months ago starting to come to light now. What do you guys think? Let's get into that right now.
And so for Bradbury all right, it's your turn to be released, for them to say, let's do it in a way that clears more money immediately in 2025 and shoves a little bit of his dead money into 2026, it does beg the question, what are they doing keeping so much cap space open for 2025? Like, they've brought in more players than we ever could have projected in our blueprint episodes. And I think there are two explanations. One, keep your options open. There's been the Aaron Rodgers stuff. But keep your options open. If there's a player that pops up on your radar that you don't even really know who it is yet, and if you don't use the open cap space, you can roll. The NFL allows you to roll over cap space into the next year. So you could say, all right, we kept our options open, but let's take $25-30 million and roll it into 2026 and give ourselves some cushion. But the second explanation could be they are planning for something big, that there's a trade to be made, there is a player to be acquired, where they need to clear a bunch of room to fit that player onto their roster for 2025.
So there you go. We're talking about the Minnesota Vikings right now, a team that we mentioned months ago with the possibility of making a trade. And if you were around for Sweep the League months ago, you understand and you know the player that we're going to be mentioning and talking about. So we have to ask that question. Minnesota keeping that cap space available, making moves to free up the cap space. Why are they making those moves? Well, months ago, we said that the idea and the thought process all had to deal with the Chargers. So again, if you were with us months ago, we talked about the Chargers and the Vikings possibly doing a blockbuster deal. And, you know, it was one of those, okay, we heard about it. We looked into it a little bit and thought about it more. And I said, you know what? Yeah, it's something that we've got to mention. We've got to talk about it because it's a reality. Why is it a reality? Well, Jim Harbaugh, old school player, old school coach. He wants to build his line. He wants to build to the trenches. So getting some veteran offensive linemen through Minnesota. That's what he wants. He's going to get obviously some draft picks. Plus, as much as Minnesota has said they're not taking any calls on JJ McCarthy, I really feel that they are taking Jim Harbaugh's call. Who, connect the dots, guys, Harbaugh McCarthy, national championship, Michigan. So you kind of see where we're going. Months ago, we said the possibilities, don't be surprised. We said, these are our exact words. Go back on it. Don't be surprised if you start to see the Justin Herbert train to Minnesota start gaining momentum. The Minnesota's doing it. If you notice, they're pretty much out as of right now, and it could change overnight. We don't know. It could change, but as of right now, they're pretty much out on Aaron Rodgers. You know, they could have gotten Rodgers in. They could have allowed McCarthy, you know, another year behind a veteran quarterback. They cleared up some good. They have cleared up some space. They have, and like they mentioned on the podcast, what are they doing? They're preparing themselves for a big move. What move is that?
So I bring you this email from Anonymous yesterday. Greetings, Purple Daily. I would like to stay anonymous because I don't want to get my connections in any trouble. I do have a couple connections to the Vikings organization, and they always hear little bits and pieces of possible trades or personnel additions. Both connections reached out to me very excited and told me almost identical information. I had asked them both separately if they knew anything about the money the Vikings were saving to the salary cap this season, but neither of them knew. But they both reached out to me and told me about a big trade that was supposedly happening. I thought, got to be Sauce Gardner or maybe a Dexter Lawrence, big defensive player. But they both said no. Quarterback. From what my connections were telling me, the Vikings are still very interested in Justin Herbert and were close to finalizing a deal. They didn't know what picks or players were being traded, but it was going to be big. The trade should be now. These are his words. The trade should be finalized before the NFL draft next month. If this happens, the Vikings would easily be a Super Bowl favorite. Again, this was sent yesterday. Now, it's possible his information is coming in before. He's also an anonymous guy who's just emailing the show.
Right.
You know,
right.
I don't think Adam Schefter's running with this, but Purple Daily is because we're just having fun here, you know?
That's right. We entertain it.
But then this morning, Tom Pelissero and other national reporters came out and said, hey, any sort of discussions about Rodgers? But Pelissero said the Vikings have rejected trade offers for McCarthy.
Right.
Which makes this tie-in even more interesting to me.
Shout out to the Purple Daily podcast out there again for talking about it today on their podcast or recently on their podcast, bringing up, something like we've been talking about for a while. The possibilities are there. I might get into some of the comments real quick before we go on here. Joel Cullen, who's at the UTSA UT baseball game. Hey, UTSA with the win over UT. That was a great game. Great win by UTSA. Bolt up. Robert James, man, my brother, my boy, Robert Jameson, man. Appreciate you joining in, listening on X here. Appreciate you joining in. He says it's Russell Wilson. It's not Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson ends up with the Giants. If we're being 100% honest, I think he ends up with the Giants. Jacob Eric, hey, I'm sorry. I told you weren't going to like this. More like you weren't going to like it. Shout out Mario Cavazos. Appreciate you joining us here on Sweep the League. Justin Herbert has been overrated so far in his career. That's a good point. I will give you that right there. He's starting to feel like that Phillip Rivers career, right? Put up a lot of great stats, but not going to get it done in winning time right now. So we're just keeping it real. Overrated, it's a little bit too harsh of a word, but it feels like he's on that Phillip Rivers career trajectory right now, something that the Chargers know all too well. Honestly, I don't think a deal of Herbert for JJ and other pieces would go down. Why? Apparently, JJ had to get a second procedure and is weighing about 180 pounds right now. That is a good point on that. But here's the thing. You've got two sides on this side here, Joel. Are the Vikings really sold on JJ McCarthy? I mean, that they have to sit there and they have to ask themselves that. Are we sold on JJ? We have all this cap room. We've already locked up Justin Jefferson. We've locked him up already. We've already, we've got another wide receiver. And again, I hate using the terms wide receiver 2 when you've got two talented wide receivers. You've got wide receiver 1A and 1B in Addison and Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson being 1A, obviously. But then you got a wide receiver 1 as well in Jordan Addison. You've got, you've got a really good offensive line. You may have to give up one of your best offensive linemen, but you got a really good offensive line. You've got a good running game. If you are the Vikings and you're not sold on JJ McCarthy, I mean, can you imagine a QB, Justin Herbert, a gunslinging QB with the weapons that he would have on that offensive side of the ball for Minnesota? They can easily compete with Detroit. They're not Super Bowl favorites. They're not going to be the favorites to win the Super Bowl, but they are Super Bowl contenders, legit contenders with Justin Herbert. The biggest question mark going into this NFL season for the Vikings, one of the biggest ones is, okay, we lost Sam Darnold. We lost a guy that came out of nowhere. Everybody slept on him. Everybody, left him out for dead, basically. Came out of nowhere, put up a career year. So think about that. You've lost out on Darnold. You're going with JJ McCarthy, who technically is going into a rookie season. If you are not sold on JJ, and it's going to cost you, obviously, your first round pick this year, probably, an incentive if Herbert plays, 15 games this season, then they'll get a conditional first round pick later on down the line. There's going to be picks involved. That's a gimme right there. But this is a mega deal that I'm going to say on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being guaranteed that it happens. I'm right at about a 4.9 right now. I'm not sold that it's going to happen. I think it's probably going to be a lot of return. They're going to have to send, which I don't know if they have that, but look at the other side where you have Minnesota questioning, is JJ McCarthy that guy for us? You've got Jim Harbaugh, who knows that he has to build that offensive line. He knows JJ McCarthy already. The Chargers, let's be real. They're not in a rebuild, but they're not in contention. They're with this. They are where the Spurs used to be. David Robinson era. not good enough to be, title contenders, or not good enough to, win the title, but really good enough to get into the playoffs, make some noise, have a good regular season, get into the playoffs. So it's not even mediocre. It's like you're good, but you're not great. And that's kind of where the Chargers have been. They're good. They're playoff contenders. They're always going to be there. But they're not that next level. So with a mind like Jim Harbaugh, you're thinking, okay, I make this deal. I get me some draft picks. I probably end up with 3 draft picks in this draft coming up, in a pretty damn good draft, where you can find guys all the way into the, the 4th, 5th rounds. You can do a lot of damage with a lot of picks in this draft. So Jim says, you know what, Justin, you're fantastic. Love you much, but I need to rebuild. I don't have enough picks right now. I don't have, the players that I need. Let's rebuild. So that's where I think it makes a whole lot of sense for both teams. Minnesota gets into the win now. They were gangbusters last year, lost a QB that got them there. They get a QB that can continue that trend. And the Chargers get all the assets that they need, to include a quarterback who is very familiar and very comfortable in a system that he played in college. Win-win for both teams for me. Something like I said, we mentioned it months ago. I'm glad it's getting talked about now, because it is coming up draft time. And as mentioned, if it happens, it's going to happen right before the draft or during the draft, is what I'm thinking. But again, scale of 1 to 10, 10 being that it's a guarantee that it happens, I'm at a 4.9 right now. I'm not quite at the halfway point. I'm at 4.9. I'm just glad it's getting talked about now, because now everybody has that bug in their ear. Well, it makes sense. Let's get to the comments here. Mario, you got a yellow card, man, from Jacob Eric. He is the Chargers fan for here and at Sweep the League. Great in the market, Jacob Eric. So I'm giving out yellow cards tonight because of Charger talk and not because of Kawhi talk. Joel Colonna here. Why wouldn't they be sold on JJ? He was going to be the starter but got hurt. Exactly. I understand he was going to be the starter. He got hurt. Darnold led him to the promised land. But they have to keep in mind, okay, is he that guy? Let's put it this way. You've got JJ, you've got Justin Herbert. You have the opportunity to get Justin Herbert, but you have to give up a JJ McCarthy. Are you doing it? Are you say you go in with JJ and I'm just throwing it out there. Say you're 2-7 to start the year. You're looking back like, wow, that was probably our weakest position. It's tough. Being a general manager in any league is tough. Extremely tough. Fans out there think, well, you know what? Why can't we just trade him? Oh, I tell everybody all the time, Spurs Twitter all the time. Every time a player gets released, or every time a player in the NBA is, well, Shams is throwing out there that so-and-so is available for trade, doesn't want to be here. I guarantee you, if you give yourself 5 seconds, there's going to be someone from Spurs Twitter putting, he would make a great Spur. So-and-so has been cut and released from Denver. He would make a great Spur. It's just the way it is. But what I'm saying on that is the fact that if you have a chance to get Justin Herbert, then you go do it. Will it cost you your future? Not necessarily. You've already locked up. You've locked up your best weapon in Justin Jefferson. You're about to lock up, if not already, by the time it's recorded, Jordan Addison. You cleared up a lot of cap space, so you can take on Herbert, and you're still going to have cap space to go do whatever. This year's draft for the NFL, I feel, is one of the deepest drafts you can draft in. So I'm okay with being okay. I either keep the picks and I draft where I am, or I trade them away and I get a ready win, a ready now, and a ready win now type of player. That's what I feel. I think you go and do it. That's my thing. So they haven't even seen him yet, and he's on that precious rookie deal. Herbert is not. Yeah, again, but it's crazy because I know where you're coming from, but the other part is how many quarterbacks have come in the league and dominated right away? It's very rare that we see him. It takes a little bit of time for some guys to come in. So it just depends on where Minnesota is. I mean, you're clearing up all this cap space for what reason? I mean, you're not spending it right now. You didn't clear it. You didn't clear it for Aaron Rodgers. You're clearing it for somebody else. Remember, none of these guys are free agents until I think 2026 is when we start seeing guys like Trevor Lawrence and, Justin Herbert. A lot of these guys start becoming free agents. Why risk any of these guys going into free agency when you can trade for them now and do the extension? That's what I'm saying right there, man. Leha, shout out to Leha, MCS General Contracting, the proud sponsors of Sweep the League. MCS General Contracting, just like we like to build rosters here on Sweep the League, MCS General Contracting, Chris Leha and the boys, they build those driveways. They build those foundations, the parking lots. They do anything and everything. It's diamond hard building by MCS General Contracting. Contact them today. It's 100% guaranteed. It's backed 100% by Sweep the League. We guarantee their work just like they guarantee their work. MCS General Contracting, proud sponsors of Sweep the League. He's saying Justin Herbert is a 2-pack of A. Jacob, shout out to Jacob Eric on there. Haven't seen a comment from Jacob Eric. I don't know if he's mad now, man. Remember, Darnold was going to be the backup. He was going to be the backup. I know Darnold was, but again, it comes back to if you have JJ. Say JJ took him to a 9-8 record this year. JJ McCarthy took him to 9-8. I'll give him 10-7 this year. Say that was that good enough to say, hey, we're throwing Justin out there. If you want him, we would like JJ back. I mean, we would like to trade for JJ. Do you not make that move? It's a tough decision, Joel. It's so tough, man. Bro, Harbaugh's dad and Jim both love Herbert. Vikings would rather have Purdy all day. I don't know. I mean, you bring up a solid point, Rob. You really do, because right now San Francisco's in a fire sale. Anybody and everybody that they can trade, they're doing it. So they're on a fire sale. I don't think they move Brock Purdy at all. I'm almost guaranteeing they don't move Brock Purdy. The next guy that gets moved from San Francisco is probably going to be Brandon Ayuk, but they're in a fire sale right now. Bro, the Chargers are CP3 Pelicans. Yeah, I mean, they're good. They're just not good enough to win. They can't afford Herbert. I want Rudy to be GM for the Spurs. I would love to apply for it. I really would, but then all you guys are going to be coming after me because here I am. Shams is going to be reporting, well, Spurs general manager Rudy Campos Jr. reportedly took calls on Victor Wembanyama to see what kind of trade packages could be worked out. And then I'm burned at the stake and I'm burned at the cross and all that stuff. But you've got to take calls on everybody. That's your job as a GM. So I'd love to be the GM for the Spurs. That'd be awesome. Bro, you acting like Pop and Vernon Maxwell. Shout out to Vernon Maxwell, dude. I've been seeing a lot of Vernon Maxwell. I'm going to make a phone call. I'm going to call Derek Gervin here after the show and see if we can get Vernon Maxwell on Sweep the League, because then you guys are not ready for Mad Max. And who they running with? LOL, Pee Wee Herman. Don't say the Packers loser. And Jacob Bergen here. That's a yellow, Chris. Chris, you got a yellow card. Purdy is cheap right now. Ayuk is unhappy. Exactly. So San Francisco, I think, is, if there's a fire sale, it's going to be Brandon Ayuk is going out next, which they are having a fire sale. Basically, they're rebuilding in San Francisco. As mentioned before, I wouldn't be surprised if you start hearing Christian McCaffrey's name being thrown out there for trades, man, because the thing with Christian McCaffrey is he's going to give you a whole lot of value, and if you're trying to rebuild, you may as well do it the right way. You may as well do it the Rudy Campos way. If you're going to rebuild, you trade your best assets and you rebuild ASAP. Bring in a lot of young talent, a lot of draft picks. You make the right picks, all that stuff. So you do it the Rudy Campos way. You want to rebuild, you rebuild, right? And I do remember we did hang out with Vernon Maxwell at Maggie's restaurant on San Pedro. We were at Maggie's like almost every weekend, twice, maybe every 2 times every weekend. So shout out to Maggie's restaurant on San Pedro. Not there anymore. One of the classics in San Antonio. We were there. I enjoyed it. Got to hang out. Yes, Vernon Maxwell was there. I do remember that. Appreciate you bringing up that memory. Shout out to everybody in here. We're going to take a quick commercial break. On the way back, it's NIL and NCAA talk. Mick Cronin, also Gino Auriemma. And we're also going to maybe tap into the NBA playoffs a little bit. Don't forget, we've got a little quick story about Mr. Padre, Tony Gwynn, at the end of the show. That's going to be closing our show tonight. Sweep the League, Rudy Campos Jr. We'll be back with a quick commercial break. Don't forget, guys, Imagine Dragons is teaming up. Yeah, that Imagine Dragons is teaming up with Sweep the League and I'm Refocus Radio to send some lucky fans to watch their concert live on the big screen in the Hollywood Bowl. So if you want to win, got the details coming very, very soon. This is Rudy Campos for Sweep the League. We'll be back. Are you looking for a contracting company that gets the job done right the first time? Look no further than MCS General Contracting. MCS specializes in top quality concrete work, including patios, driveways, foundations, and swimming pools. The team of experts are dedicated to delivering exceptional results and unparalleled customer satisfaction. At MCS General Contracting, they're not just hardworking, they're local. Based in San Antonio, they are committed to building relationships and trust within the community. That's why MCS guarantees your satisfaction. They pride themselves on getting the job done right the first time, every time. So why wait? Contract MCS General Contracting today to schedule your project and experience the difference for yourself. MCS General Contracting. Building a better San Antonio, one project at a time. Proud sponsors of Sweep the League.
Thank you for such an incredibly special night. Thank you for giving us the gift of being able to share music with you. Wheels up from the ground. Nowhere but to roll around.
On the court, watch my plays take action. Fast break, hustle, yeah, I'm built to compete. Defense locked in, I'm the soul of the street. Court vision crazy, I'm ballin' in the zone. Step back, jumper, yeah, I'm cold like stone. 2025 moves my game, got finesse. Leave it all on the floor, you know I'm the best.
You are watching Sweep the League TV. Make sure you subscribe and catch our new videos.
Sweep the League TV with Rudy, Derek, and Coach Gio. Let's get back to the live show. You are watching the best in the business.
Let's do it. You already got kids holding out, right? You already got guys playing and going, I ain't playing anymore until I get more money. So we become professional sports. Let's say it and let's act it. right? And let's stop the charade. The portal. How about we teach kids how to make a commitment and stick to it? All right, I get it. You want to leave. Fine. Leave. No penalties. How many times do you get a chance to leave? No penalties. Coach can leave anytime he wants. I can. I have a buyout. That's a great idea. Let's sign kids to a contract. Let's put a buy on it. Let's make it a business. Because that's exactly what it is. That would fix it. And let's have a salary cap, which I think this 20%, whatever it is, I think that's what it is, right? So they're getting close, but they got to start calling it what it really is and not be ashamed of it. Right? Kids aren't ashamed of it. Hey, you student athlete, you an amateur? Yeah, I am. But you get paid a lot of money. I know. Let's not talk about that, but I like it.
Welcome back to Sweep the League. Rudy Campos Jr. here. Be sure to go to our YouTube page, hit Sweep the League, search Sweep the League TV, hit that subscribe button. Also go to our TikTok page at Sweep the League Radio. Be a follower on there. We just kind of got started on that. We repost a lot of videos. We're starting to post a lot of our videos, a lot of shorts on there for you on TikTok as well. So trying to build that social media up as well. We're trying to go live on TikTok as well. So got to get up to a certain amount of people to be able to go live on there on a daily, but we can go live right now. We're working on all that. Just be a subscriber on our TikTok at Sweep the League Radio. Welcome back, everybody. We got a ton of comments that came in over the commercial break. Let's get to a lot of them here. We've got, let's see, you remember when, hung out. This is a good one. I'll send Joe Milton to the Vikings without thinking it twice. So they're wanting a 3rd round pick in return for Joe Milton. Now, Joe Milton, I think, is a guy that can be a very successful quarterback in the NFL in the right system. Very good quarterback. I think he can be really good. But the Vikings, again, they're clearing out all this money, man. And I mean, you can look at a lot of players and say, well, maybe they're clearing it out for one of the bigger guys, one of the big names to come in. But I mean, they don't need receiver. They could go running back, but I mean, you're not going to go clear all that cap space for McCaffrey or anybody like that. Saquon is set in Philadelphia. It's got to be a quarterback move. I mean, there's a reason why Darnold is in Seattle now. I'm sure they wanted him back, but when he went to Seattle, they cleared up a lot of cap space. It's got to be for a QB. And I mean, the only QBs that I can think of right now, just off the top of my head, who could be on the move that are going to be pretty expensive, you're probably looking definitely Justin Herbert is one. You're not trading Mahomes, obviously. Trevor Lawrence is another guy, but again, I mean, I wouldn't. Trevor Lawrence is a guy that I did mention in the offseason a lot after the season was done, that he's going to probably get mentioned a lot. I actually had him going to the Jets. Justin Fields with the Jets now, but I liked Trevor Lawrence going to the Jets. I mean, you could possibly see him on the move. I think Jacksonville kind of feels like they've got everything are able to get out of Trevor Lawrence. Outside of that, I mean, there's really nowhere else you would maybe use that money outside of those two guys when it comes to a quarterback. I mean, I don't see them, taking on Derek Carr's contract. I don't think they would clear cap space to take on Derek Carr. So, yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I think it's Herbert. Again, maybe Trevor Lawrence, but I think Herbert's the one guy that they were clearing cap space for, because I don't think they legitimately thought that it was a serious deal. But when they found out that it truly is a serious type of thing, they cleared the cap space, trying to make it happen. So appreciate Joel, man. You always bring the fire 100% of the time. I've seen bits and pieces of the Up in Smoke podcast with Vernon Maxwell. I need to watch the whole thing. I'm going to go check it out. If he does mention Maggie's, and I'm going to play it on the show, because man, Maggie's was my place. Low key, true story. My mom worked for Maggie's in the office there. So, Robert Jameson, my witness, but people, my witness, we all went there. We ate free. I've never paid for a meal at Maggie's. Shout out to my mom for being, in the office up there and being one of the main people there. So we were able to eat free at Maggie's every time. And Oh boy, it was fun. Those were my big fat boy days, which I'm probably getting there back here in a little bit. Tell me you're on my bro. You reach out to Up and Smoke and you let them know and you tell them maybe you can get them on the show for me, man. Appreciate that. Speaking of Gino, so yeah, getting back to Gino Auriemma here. So, again, I feel like Derek Gervin always texts me and he tells me, man, these guys that do the national shows and all that, they probably listen to a lot of these little podcasts. I really feel like, because again, we were talking about NCAA, those teams, they need general managers. You're starting to see GMs starting to pop up. North Carolina has one. You're starting to other teams get the GM. Gino is 100% right, and it's something that we've screamed from the mountaintops, and we're going to keep screaming it from the mountaintops. There is no more college sports. College sports is dead. It's dead. There's no more NCAA sports. It is completely dead. It is a business. These players are getting paid to play legally. They're getting paid to play. So NCAA is DEAD. It's dead. It's over with. There's no more. I, for one, have screamed as well. Same thing like Gino. It's a business. So guess what? We need to hold these players accountable. You come and play for UConn. I'm going to give you a 4-year deal to play at UConn. Okay. What is my NIL deal? Okay, this is your NIL deal. You're one of the best players in the country. You're playing on one of the best teams in the country. Put a cap space on it, like Gino said. If you want to put a cap space, which I think he said that most people do have a cap space. I mean, a cap on it. Put an overall cap on everything. Can only make so much. And if you make more, other teammates get less. But here's the key. You want to fix college sports. You want to fix NIL. I, for one, am a supporter of NIL. I just don't like the blueprint. I hate the blueprint. Because with NIL, you've got to do something with a transfer portal. Something that Gino mentioned as well. Something that I've mentioned a million times as well. The transfer portal was a great idea, but it kicked the NCAA in the balls. Because if you don't like your situation, you can transfer right away. You're gone. You can leave. Now you throw money. I'm the starting quarterback. Well, I'm a quarterback at UTSA. I'm making $50K for my year. I played sparingly. Oh, hey, Vanderbilt. They need a quarterback. You know what? I took a recruiting visit to Vanderbilt. Let me call up the coach. Hey, coach, you need a QB? Yeah, I need a QB. Oh, I loved your game. You know what? Why don't you transfer here? Sweet. I'm making $50K here. You know what? We'll do 125. Just go ahead and come up here. Transfer to West Virginia. Boom. I'm done. I'm gone. Season's over. I'm on my way to West Virginia to go play football. It's not right. It's terrible. Because as a coach, you put so much effort into training, building these players up for your program, for them just to go somewhere else. NIL, transfer portal, great ideas, but the blueprint is crap. It's shit. And it comes back on the coaches tenfold. UTSA, local program, they get bit hard by that. Players transferring out. They can go make money somewhere else. UTSA doesn't have the budget to pay a lot of these players, but they could make in other places. Jeff Traylor is putting everything he's got, all the effort he gives into coaching these guys. And in the back of his mind, he knows for a fact that, you know what? They could transfer at any time. They can enter the transfer portal at any time. And it sucks to coach a team like that. I feel for the coaches out there. So, what was my recommendation a while back? It's the same thing. Exactly what Gino said. Put them on contracts. But here's the thing. You want to do a 1-year deal? Do 1-year deals. No worries. You want to do a multi-year deal? Do multi-year deals. Most of these bigger recruits, you want to do multi-year deals. They want millions of dollars. They're not all going to be Arch Manning, where they're just sitting there waiting for their time. They're going to want to play. They're going to want to play no matter what. So the way to counter your transfer portal problem that involves NIL is this. A player comes in, you give him a contract. End of the year, player comes up, coach, I want to transfer. Okay, where are you transferring to? I'm transferring to North Carolina. Okay. It's a business. You cannot just pick up and go. You're under contract. Guess what? Welcome to the trade world in the NCAA. I am trading this quarterback to North Carolina. Now, in return, you're not going to snag players out. Unless players want to come play for you, fine. But it helps to do this. I basically am paying X dollars for this guy. He wants to play for Carolina. Well, guess what? North Carolina, I need that NIL money back. It's got to work that way somehow. And you know what? It's probably stupid to think that way. But you cannot keep coaching these kids for them to go play on a bigger stage. It kills programs. It kills programs. I'd say pay them whatever they think is fair, but the portal, you can only transfer once. If you go twice, you have to sit out a year without the pay. I'm okay with the transfer once. I like that idea, but I think if you're going to make it a business, you've got to keep it a business. Plus, you need to get rid of the whole, well, I'm going to be in school for 7 years, for 8 years, because I'm not good enough to make it to the NFL just yet. But I'm loving college life. And I'm loving the pay that I'm getting in college. I get free meals. I get free everything. Why go bust my butt in the NFL right now? You got to get rid of that thing. Come on, dude. If you're not a doctor or a lawyer and you've been in college 7 years, 8 years or whatever, if you don't have your double masters or something, there's something wrong. I mean, no college should have to put up with you for 7 or 8 years, pay you. And I don't care if you win, 2 national championships, 3 national, it doesn't matter. You shouldn't be in college that long if you're not going to be a doctor or something like that. They got to get rid of this, medical red shirt and red shirt this and, and then you go back to, it was the COVID year. So he's got that year back. Then he had a medical /COVID we lost his documents, his application. So he's got, 2 years additional because technically he didn't start school this. So he started school the week after. So no, it's all BS. 4 years. 4 years. I can't stay in high school, until 17th grade. I can't just make crap up. If I'm not going to be a doctor after 4 years or 8 years in school and college, what the hell am I doing? What the hell is the university doing? They got to get rid of that. That is annoying as hell. Joe Milton, 6 years in college. Yeah, I mean, Bo Nix is 7 years in college? I mean, that's one of the biggest things they've got to do right there. They really have to look at that. All of it's great. 100% great. But the blueprint sucks. Quick word here from Mick Cronin here.
Too much goes on in youth basketball where it's about me and not we. And it's not the kids' fault. They're a product of the system. And then they get to guys like me or Coach Izzo. Not that I apologize. Me and Kevin Willard, we can't compare ourselves to Coach Izzo. Way out of my lane there. I'm not in his league. But, we're trying to tell you got to play defense, you got to play smart. Everybody else just lets them run around and shoot every time. Get beat on defense, they don't come out. Just not helping them, though. It's not helping them. That's why you hear all the NBA guys now talking about why there's so many Europeans, because they actually play real basketball. There's no such thing as a pickup game in Europe.
There's Mick Cronin, UCLA's head coach right there. I mean, that's the problem, is that, everybody talked about European basketball players dominating the game. 4 of the top 5 players in the NBA are international players. Yeah, they played college ball. Shea played college ball, Kentucky, but he's an international player. Jokic, international, never played college ball. Giannis, international. Joel Embiid played college, but international. 4 of the top players in the league, international players. There's a reason why the game of basketball is going downhill. And we can all say, well, it's not physical no more. It's a soft league. It starts at the bottom. It starts with the kids, man. I've been to some AAU tournaments. I've been to high school games. My daughter plays, basketball for her school. I've experienced a lot of it already. I don't like it. I don't like watching the kids, 7th graders, 8th graders, 6th graders, jacking up threes. And let's be real, they all think they're Steph Curry. They all think they're James Harden with the step back. And when they do make, that 1-3 after attempting 44 times, and they finally make that 3, well, we get the celebration, the 3 and this and that. And it starts at the youth level, like Mick said. It really does, like Coach Cronin said. I don't know if it's coaches failing youth basketball players or youth athletes in general, because we see it in, little league, like football, baseball. We see it all over now. Social media creates a lot of this stuff. We watch the games and, it's weird because you can have so-and-so at the free throw line, make a free throw. You look at the bench and they're all up doing, the arrows and this and that. And, they're all high. It's a freaking free throw. They make a jump shot. The bench is all jumping up, playing, patty cakes or whatever it is. I don't know what that damn game was back in the day. It's all showman stuff. It's all, you never saw that growing up. You made a basket, you clapped, you got back on defense. Social media's killed it. And now it goes to the coaches as well. But who do you blame at that level? Is it the coaches? I know I mentioned before, AAU basketball, was it like $5,000 for the year? You got to pay $4,000. Well, that covers travel, that covers this, but you also got to pay an extra, $1,200 because we've got 4 sets of uniforms. We've got 4 different pairs of shoes. We got 3 different warm-up uniforms. So that has to be paid. Plus you've got to pay, the traveling expenses, another $3,000. And we're going to Vegas. Literally. Was like 400 and something players in the NBA. You mean to tell me the thousands upon thousands of high school kids should travel to Vegas because they need to live and they need to play in that lavish lifestyle? Where did we mess up as a society on when it comes to the youth of basketball or sports in general? I traveled for basketball, but I never did a lot of that stuff, man. That is crazy. Caleb Love in basketball. Gotta get that next viral moment, Rudy. It's like a drug. Exactly. It's the viral moment. And you get it on podcasting, people will say whatever to get the viral moment, to get those viral, everybody talking. You get it on the NBA, you get it in high school. It's like when there's a fight, no one breaks it up anymore. Everybody goes for their phone. I've been involved in a couple of fights where fights have happened. I've never once grabbed my phone. I've attempted to stop it. Someone getting their brains beaten in, it's more important for me to stop that than to make sure I get that 1 million views on TikTok. The viral moment, as Joel put it a little while ago here. Who cares? But you know what? You get those million views. You knock down, you get that one shot. Oh, he hit the half court shot, and that's the end of the third quarter, but it was a half court shot. Oh, great job. Awesome, 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 awesome. Heart. Million views on TikTok. It's all, oh, you got a million views. Oh, congratulations. It's a shot. It's a basketball shot. But we are a society that lives in the moment. Except it's never a personal moment. It's a how much can I make off of this moment when I put it online. It's got to be a world where we have to go back to being humble as players, as athletes, as superstars in the league. You have to set a better example. Set the example. It's already trickled down to the youth. When I say the youth, the 8-year-olds, the 9-year-olds, you've got to have it trickle down in a better way. It's sad, but Cronin's right. You've got guys with attitudes coming into college who are disrespecting guys like Tom Izzo, Mick Cronin, Gino. Guys and girls, athletes coming in, disrespecting these people. These great coaches. There's a reason why Nick Saban said, peace, I'm out. He ain't going to deal with that. You probably see more big-time coaches take off. But what's next? It's those viral moments we talked about. Why? Because the new breed of coaches, like Dan Hurley, with his antics. Surely, I can't be the only one to say I am not looking forward to the future of the game. Appreciate everybody joining us here tonight on Sweep the League. We're going to end the night here with a Tony Gwynn moment against the Cincinnati Reds. Rest in peace, Tony Gwynn, man. One of the greatest hitters, probably arguably the greatest hitter in the game of baseball. I mean, if you were ever a kid watching Tony Gwynn like I was, you just were amazed by Tony Gwynn. I grew up watching him. Great hitters like Robin Yount was another one. Tony Gwynn. I mean, the list goes on and on for great hitters in the game of baseball, but none are probably ever going to be as great as Tony Gwynn. Shout out to MCS General Contracting, proud sponsors of Sweep the League. If you need that diamond hard work, you call MCS General Contracting today. Tell them Sweep the League sent you. They're going to, whether you tell me that or not, they're going to take care of you regardless, 100% of the time, all the time. Backed by Sweep the League. They guarantee their work. We guarantee their work for them as well. Why? Because they're the best in the business. MCS General Contracting, proud sponsors of Sweep the League. Hit them up today. Also, go to our YouTube page. Search Sweep the League TV, hit that subscribe button. Go to our TikTok page. Everybody go to our TikTok page at Sweep the League Radio. Hit that follow button on there. We want to try to get that social media up and going. I don't have Facebook anymore. I was basically banned on Facebook because of copyright. So it is what it is. Who cares? Instagram as well. But we do have TikTok. We have X at Sweep the League on X. And also we have YouTube. So Appreciate everybody joining me tonight. We should be back tomorrow for a Thursday night edition. It's March Madness tomorrow. My bracket was filled out last night live. If you want to check it out, be sure to check out last night's edition of Sweep the League, where I entered the USOA Dirty 4 Bracket Challenge. You still have time to get in that, Joel. You weren't here last night. If you want to join, it's a free bracket you can do on ESPN. It's on my TikTok. On my Sweep the League Twitter page. I'll reshare it again for you guys out there. Get your entries in. They're giving out prizes to the top 4 brackets out there. It's sponsored by MCS General Contracting, Bear Apparel, Castro and Son Solar. It's a great bracket. My picks were in last night live on the show. It's in there. So if you guys want to check out who I've got winning, shout out Auburn, who I've got winning the entire tournament, it's on the last night's edition of Sweep the League. So for everybody here at Sweep the League, it's Rudy Campos Jr. Until we sweep the league again, we'll see you later, knuckleheads. Leave you with a little bit of Tony Gwynn.
Can I tell you a quick story? Please. All right, we're in Cincinnati. Now I'm coaching at this time. Riverfront, raining.
It doesn't look too good right now, though. It's been raining pretty hard here in Cincinnati.
We go back out to start again. They're ahead 2-0. They bring in a left-hander.
Well, the left-hander in face left-hander Tony Gwynn.
And Tony comes to hit. And the left-hander hadn't even thrown a pitch yet, and the skies open up. Game suspended.
It is a torrential downpour right now, and that's it. So Tony Gwynn will have to wait.
That means the next day, the same lineup has to start. We're walking up the tunnel at Riverfront, going up to the clubhouse, and he turns to me and goes, "Hey, Flan, tomorrow this guy is going to throw me a first pitch slider. I'm going to hit it in the left center field gap. The score is going to be tied. Be ready." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, whatever. Okay, Tony, all right." Sure enough, the next evening.
Here's Tony Gwynn.
First pitch, slider, bangs it in the left center field.
He's got a base hit.
Both runs score. He gets to second base and goes. He knew what the pitcher was going to throw him before the pitcher knew what he was going to throw.
Oh, heal my broken soul. Mend the pieces of my heart. Wipe away my angry tears and never depart from the darkness. Lead me to your light. Heal my broken soul and make everything alright.
This guy is from out of this world. He's gonna be an alien. What is going on? Oh my goodness, this guy is really gonna be special. Ain't nothing to it. When we still lit. When we still lit. When we still lit. We got dreams, hit the fast lane. Took the stairs, real pain, no fear. We steady making it clear. I'm the captain, nice to meet you, but I make chess moves, no snooze. Bless you, we turning the impossible to possible. Doing what we do, call me Wemby, alien, flow too quick. You can't see me, just saying. The only thing that is your season, come see me, trust me, we too. Sweep unplugged. Sweep unplugged. Exclusive interviews with Rudy and the crew, let's